Hi, I'm Sarah Cannell, and welcome back to the Download Project for our weekly download. So, what we're doing here in the weekly download is giving you a forecast, a frequency forecast for recap of the previous week, what's coming up, what you can expect in terms of our journey into super consciousness, into developing your intuitive abilities, your frequency and quality of the downloads, the guidance that you are receiving, your signs, your affirmations, your big ideas, your miracles, and giving you an update on what's going on in the download book that comes out October 2026. So thrilled that you're here. Thanks for joining us on the journey. And especially thank you for responding and letting me know what downloads you're receiving from doing this work together. It is just am giddy about not being alone with the book writing and the research and everything that I've been doing for the past 18 months. It's so wonderful to be building our community, and you're such an important part of it. So, again, thanks for being here. All right, so let's look at the week that just concluded and sort of look at what's going on and what's coming up this week. So, downloads are happening all the time, right? We are always, if you've ever read the book The Alchemist, sold, something like 45 million copies worldwide. You can listen to the audiobook or reread it or read it if you haven't. But I felt moved to pick that book up again this week. I've read it many times, but not for a while. And I think the reason I needed to read it is because I was having an internal struggle between, and I'm sharing this in case this is coming up for you, an internal struggle between sort of the calling and the passion and the excitement for where I feel called to go next in this work, in super consciousness, in downloading, and also the part of me that says, well, you need to, stay in your lane and do what you've always done. And I've been leading and teaching thought leadership for years, writing, helping people write books, give keynote speeches and TEDx talks, and community organization guest speaking. I've been doing this work, and downloading completely relates to thought leadership in the sense that this is the future of thought leadership. With 95% of the world is going to default and outsource their creativity to AI, we need real thought leaders that are going to do the work and do the work that we're doing here around creativity, around innovation, around going to source and being in the creative process and not just out of convenience and fear default to derivative ideas, right? It's crucially important to the purpose and the future of thought leadership to do the work you're here doing in the Download Project. So that is why I'm extra excited that you're here. And there's this battle, and I've been feeling it, clients of mine have been feeling it sometimes around, we're getting ready to enter a new calendar year, and it's coming for us, right? The next level, here's the evolution of your work. And there can be a battle between our sort of right and left brain, if we want to think about it like that, or our ego and our soul, or our, kind of human three-dimensional attached self and our multi-dimensional self, right? So if that's up for you, I'd love to hear about it. And it was up for me. And so I pulled that book back out. It downloaded, right? This is one of the ways I get downloads where I'll just see a book comes into my mind. So that'd be an example of, there's the different clairs, if you've heard of it, different ways we can receive intuitive information. And one of them is visually, right? And so, there's clairaudience, like we hear, claircognizance, we know, clairsentience, we feel. There is a smell one that I forget the name. And so anyway, I get all the clairs, but that sometimes a book cover will actually like show up in my mind's eye. So I pulled The Alchemist back out, and it talked about that this mysterious force, like when we get a new vision, in coaching, we call it the gremlin. Freud called it the inner critic. Jung called it the saboteur. We've had philosophers and psychiatrists and people and leaders from religious people and quantum physicists all talk about these phenomenon of we get the vision, and then the counterbalance says you can't do that, don't do that. Our amygdala in our brain starts saying unsafe, don't become more, all that stuff, right? So anyway, if this is going on a little bit in you, it is an affirmation. It is a sign that you are breaking through, that you're going to a new level, that you are rising up, whatever words you like to use. It is a good thing, because if you were staying safe and playing small, then you wouldn't be triggering those fear responses, but you also wouldn't grow. You wouldn't fulfill what you came here to do. You wouldn't fulfill your destiny. And that book, The Alchemist, is all about, we have a personal legend, right? That's our calling. And the whole universe wants you to achieve it and is going to help you achieve it because it originated in the soul of the universe, according to the book, right? And that's what downloading is. It's getting those signs, those affirmations, the turn here, the yes, you're on the right track, the here's the miracle that's going to help you. We got to keep the channel open. So reading the book helped me keep the channel open. And that reminder that this mysterious force that we think is negative, that's trying to shut us down or protect us or stop us, it is actually the contrast, the rub, the friction of that inner battle is actually what's going to give us the power to fulfill our destiny in this next chapter, in this next year, in this next whatever the next download is for you. So I'd love to, hear if that resonates. So that's a little bit about what the week felt like on an emotional, energetic level. Now, what's coming up this week is really exciting, depending on when you're reading or watching this. We have the 12/12 portal, right? These energy days, 11/11 on November 11th, 12/12, 8/8 is called Lionsgate in August. Well, 12/12 is the portal. That's when we're opening our Gamma group, where we're going to actually have this super consciousness lab where we're going to like do the work and do the activators. So if you're interested in that, you can join us. We'll put the links here. But either way, on 12/12, pay attention to that day because between 12/12, December 12th, and 12/21, December 21st, there's going to be this very, very, very open time when we're the kind of from conscious mind to super conscious mind is like hooked up. It's like you're just going to plug in a really amplified way. So it's the perfect time to be doing gamma walks, which we teach here, doing meditation, doing journaling, doing creative planning for the new year. So this is a really, really potent time, which is why we're meeting as a group on December 12th. And I'll be doing something special on the 21st. That's the winter solstice. Again, if you're not into all these, woo things, remember the Download Project is about SWOO, science meets woo. And whether you want to believe in like cosmic, I don't know a lot about astrology at this point or anything, but I do know that these energy days are potent and you can get stronger clarity, signs, affirmations, guidance, big ideas, revelations, innovations, even miracles in these certain times of year. They're just more available. They're easier. They're naturally trying to happen for you in a bigger way. So how cool is that? So that's what's coming up in terms of the download forecast, your frequency forecast. It's going to be high octane. You might feel more emotional. Your sleep might be weird. You might wake up with ideas. You might have weird dreams. You might have trouble sleeping. Just lean in. That's what I'm offering to everybody. Just lean in during this time. And of course, we'll be, doing the weekly downloads throughout this period. So more to come on that. A practice for this week that I will offer you is on December 12th, or whenever you're watching this or hearing this, you can access the energy of whatever the next new moon or full moon or portal day there is, right? 1/1 will be coming up soon, whatever it is, just I would offer to you that day just to carve out 5 minutes, even 5 minutes of extra time. And all I'm going to invite you to do is sit quiet. If you want to walk in nature and do it, great. Otherwise, just sit quietly and just breathe in the thing you want most right now. So I'm breathing clarity and exhale clarity. Breathe in clarity, exhale clarity. If you're finding this episode installment at the time when we're recording at the end of a calendar year, you can breathe in, your vision for the new year, clear vision for the new year. Or let's say you just want massive financial abundance, breathing in abundance and breathing out abundance, whatever it is that you want. This is an embodiment practice. It's a gamma inducing, super consciousness inducing practice. You're going to breathe the thing you want to bring in, and you're going to exhale the thing you want to bring in. You're going to create a immersion, a 360-degree loop of you unifying with that quality, that vision, that goal. You can do this on really specific things, like a perfect health report from your doctor or a certain score on your exam, whatever it is, right? A certain amount of money. But you could do it on qualities like clarity, abundance, peace, wellness, wholeness, anything you want. Okay. So I'm just going to offer to you, choose an upcoming energy day. You can decide today is that day because you're finding this installment, and then do that practice. All right, that's your gamma superconscious inducing practice for this week. Now, what's going on with the book? I wish I'd done a lot more writing this week. So this weekend, I am ready to roll up my sleeves and get back into it in a big way. But some really exciting things did happen. Number one, I got to do two book interviews this week with some amazing people. Part three of the download book is the wow. It's the actual science and neuroscience of miracles. And so I'm speaking with people who have had what they consider miracles. You've all had one. You've had one. If you're watching this, there's something in your life that defies natural laws, that happened faster than it should have, or bigger than it should have, or you had something that you didn't make happen, right? And so I'm interviewing people who have had some of these extraordinary experiences, who are generous enough to share, and then putting them through the scientific equation that I've come up with in the book, that I've been testing and researching, that is an actual scientific equation of miracles. And so we're looking at their miracle in the light of that scientific equation to see, does it apply? Does it stack up? What is their experience? So it's been incredibly inspiring to do some of these interviews. So I interviewed Tanya Yardley, who is out of Canada. She's one of the top neuro, like she works with the people, inventors who are creating neurofeedback and bioengineering type of physical like devices, headsets, neuroacoustic programs, different methodologies and chairs and infrared light and things we can do to train our brains, to rewire our nervous system for peace and wellness and success. They've worked with people with supposedly, from many doctors, incurable brain injuries and things, and they've gotten them out of wheelchairs and walking again and speaking when they couldn't speak. I mean, truly miraculous stuff through science. And so I had an incredible interview with Tanya this week, and they're going to be creating neuro lounges for our book tour, which is also wildly exciting. So instead of just coming and hearing about the download book and going through some of the exercises, we'll actually have neuro lounges where we'll be able to like put on the neuroacoustic headsets and use the sound vibration healing systems and use the technology to get stronger, more frequent, more high octane downloads. How cool is that? So excited. I also talked with Susie Lula, who's Reverend Michael Beckwith out of the Agape Centers. One of his right hands runs the Agape University. She has an incredible story of a physical miracle that she experienced. And Agape, through Michael Beckwith and Susie's generosity, are going to be hosting an LA book event for us. So that was a really cool thing. We're starting these conversations about sponsorship now. I'm talking to a couple other neurotech companies about sponsoring our events for the book tour. We're looking at Vancouver. We have a meeting next week, so I'll have a fun update next week after a mini publisher meeting and then a big meeting in January where we really start planning out the tour. So it was a lot about reaching out to, some more book interviews, book sponsors. I did a little bit of manuscript work. Like I said, a lot coming up for me in the next few days on that. And very, very excited about the flow that's happening with the book. What else can I say about the book? I had Kimberly Warner, who's also published with Empress Editions through Hachette, my publisher, and we had her on our podcast. Her memoir Unfixed came out this October. It's spectacular. She has multiple miracle stories actually, and so that was exciting to have her on the podcast. And I know that there's more. It feels like there's more. It seems like there's more. But yeah, and we're in meetings about studio spaces for the new Download podcast, which will be coming out also in 2026. So lots in the works. That's the update. Please message any questions, topics you want to cover. One of the questions we received this week was, how do you discern what's a download and what's just a fantasy or your random thought? Crucial question. Talk a lot about it in the book. We'll be discussing that in the Gamma group on 12/12 on the 12/12 portal. So if you're not already in the Gamma group, definitely join us there. That's where we're in the super consciousness activation lab. We're doing the activators together on Zoom. We are doing having incredible guest speakers, just lots more depth of what we can cover here. So excited to see you there. And let me know any requests you have for upcoming weekly downloads. Thanks for being here and have a miraculous week.